Hi guys, welcome back. Today, because I can't ride, I decided to freshen up my bike a bit. I gave my old frame to a friend, so I'm going to show you guys how to build a BMX bike. I'm going to cheat because half the bike is already assembled, but it's just about getting the basics done, I guess. This is the DK Passport. It's a brand new frame I had lying around that house for at least, I think, 2 or 3 years. I took the liberty of pressing in the bottom bracket. There it is. Remember when you put in those bearings, grease it up. I hammered them in, but if you have like a press to press them in towards each other, that would be even better. So where do we begin? I started with the bottom bracket bearings, but next up I'll just put in the seat. This is a pivotal seat. It has a bolt going straight through. I have a titanium bolt in there, so I greased that up really good because otherwise you get like cold welding. You just not be able to separate them. Before I put this in my frame, I gotta use a little bit of grease. Some might call me crazy, but once you start putting stuff like inside, metal to metal, just please don't forget to grease stuff up if you want to be able to take it out in a year's time. So when you buy a headset, you get like a bunch of crazy stuff. Let me put stuff down. So what you get is you get the bearings, these boys. You get like a race. It's where the bearing sits on top of. Most forks, and probably yours as well, has like a built-in race, so the bearing drops down on that. The bottom bearing goes up like this. Then you get the frame. Then you get the top bearing, and then you get a small middle ring. It's stuck, I can't get it out. Followed by the top cap. That's when you put on your spacers, on your stem, and I'll show you guys. So in my case, I have a gyro. It's a thing you use, like, make sure bars twist when you brake, and most people don't run brakes nowadays, but I still do. Before you put on the stem, remember to put this and the spacer you need for your gyro. Put that in between before you put on the stem and the bars, because otherwise it's just going to be a hassle to take it off again. Please remember to put grease on this as well. It's so important to grease stuff up. That's when you pop in the bottom bearing and then pop in the top bearing. And that's when you slide in the forks. Put the rest of the stuff on. So in this case, I cheated. Like, I already put the stem, like I keep the stem bars and stuff, you know, I keep them together. Because I'm so picky in how my bars stand, like, I'll just keep it like this. And then you put the top cap on, but don't forget, grease it up. This is a perfect example. I have spacers, but I didn't have enough spacers. So this inner circle is my fork, and this is my stem. So the fork is higher than my stem, so I couldn't tighten it down enough to get rid of all that play. I had another spacer. Don't forget this, I pulled that off. See, now the inner circle is below my stem, so that's when I can tighten it down and get rid of all that play I had. So when you put together the bars and the stem, make sure that the gap up top has to be about the same size as the gap at the bottom, and then when you tighten the stem bolts, just make sure you do it like in a cross. You start the top left, bottom right, top right, bottom left. Just make sure you tighten them evenly. As soon as I'm done, I'm gonna put it on the ground, and then I'm gonna align the bars with the wheel, and then that's when I tighten everything down. Tea break. I like tea. Who else likes tea? Let me know in the comments. So next up, cranks, sprocket, pedals. In this case, I already have everything on there, but if you do it in the other order, I'd put in your cranks first, with your sprocket of course, and then the pedals on later. To line up your crank arms, I use the frame, the seat tube, I use that as a reference. And then as a reference, I can see like if my cranks are straight on. And you can push it on for the beginning. Push them on for a slight bit until the bolt fits in, and then you can compress them by doing up the bolt. So the stand I had didn't really work with my wheel, so I'm just gonna pop it in there. Wrong way. you need to determine the length of your chain. So in this case, this would be the size I need because I can't go smaller. And I don't want too big because I'd have to move my wheel back too far. So this is perfect. So this is the pin I want to push through. And this is when you tighten up your chain in your back wheel. I got pegs, so I gotta use this extension. So the wheel has to be in the center of the frame and your chain has to be tight. Just use common sense. Common sense gets you pretty far. So like this would be perfect in my eyes. Like this is tight, but it's good. I like it this way. This is how I run it. If my bike didn't have brakes, I'd be done already. The worst thing though of setting up a bike like this is my brakes. So I'm gonna get started. In this case, I'm using the Odyssey Evo 2. They tell me what type spring goes where and what way I have to turn it in order to work good. Again, this all comes down to preference. Like I like riding brakes, some people don't. You want this to spring off your wheel. So it always has to move off your wheel. So in this case, I'm gonna cheat a bit. Normally, when you get this cable new cable comes like this. And it has a long end here and a long cable. So what you have to do is you hook this end up just below your stem, and then you measure out how long this end needs to be and you cut it accordingly. If I'm lucky, it's all gonna fit in one go. If I'm unlucky, I have to open up a new cable and then do the long process. If it fits, I'm gonna be a very, very happy man. Nope. So all that's left is tape this up so it doesn't make that loud clicking noise, and then my bike's pretty much finished. So that's basically how you build a BMX bike. Looks easy, doesn't it? It is very easy. If there's something you don't understand about how to put together your bike, let me know in the comments below and I'll try to help you out again as best as possible. If you like my bike, let me know too, because I love my bike. See you guys next week, and please remember to subscribe.